Welcome to the Coffee and Podcast, where specialty coffee means so much more. We are on a quest to cultivate freedom for victims of human trafficking, all while drinking wicked awesome coffee. I'm your host, Philip Clayman. I'm one of the co-founders of Three Tree Coffee Roasters, and we are currently in the Three Trees Roasting Warehouse right here in beautiful Statesboro, Georgia. You're in for a treat today because today's episode is called a 3x3x3. What that means is that we're going to have three people drinking three coffees in 3 minutes. All right, so this is going to be a fun episode today. But before we get into drinking our coffees, I want to introduce you to our co-host, Mr. Cody Barnes. Cody, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I'm excited to drink some coffee.
I am too. All right, what did you drink this morning when you had some coffee?
I had a black honey process from Honduras. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know if you had more. Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
just that one.
Just the one.
Awesome. Very cool. Cody is our lead roaster here at Three Tree Coffee. He's going to be helping put together the coffee for us to taste here in just a little bit. So appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah.
Cool.
Excited.
And now let's introduce our guest for today. I'm very excited to bring on a friend, serial entrepreneur, and just an overall great guy, Mr. Adam Tsang. Welcome to the show.
What's up, everybody? It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me onto the show.
Yeah, pumped to have you. Why don't you share a little bit about all of your endeavors?
Yep. So I, like Philip, am a entrepreneur, local entrepreneur. I have restaurants, media production, Two Fly Guys, a PR firm, pet public relations, a e-commerce whiskey product, which is called Whiskey Grail. And above that, we also do real estate as an organization and just having a ton of fun. I just recently opened Blue Mile Liquor, which is Blue Mile Wine and Spirits, rather. It's a liquor store right here in beautiful Statesboro, Georgia.
Nice. Awesome. And I hear you're also going to be opening up a zoo here soon.
Absolutely. We're going to get some flamingos.
Nice. Flamingos.
That's my spirit animal for whatever reason.
And the zoo will be on Mars.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, anyways, Adam is a serial entrepreneur, great guy, and really excited to have you on. We're going to fix that. So, to us at Coffee and Podcast, specialty coffee just means so much more. And so what I want to know is, why does coffee mean more to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Coffee to me is a source of fuel. With as many endeavors as I have going on, with as many things that I have, my hands in, it's very important for me to stay sharp and focused. And there's nothing better to keep me sharp and focused than a wonderful cup of Three Tree coffee.
Hey, shout out to Three Tree. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah, and we feel the same way. I mean, coffee is just such a great way to wake yourself up, get going. Anyone that runs a business, how difficult it is to keep going, and coffee's a great fuel.
Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Well, so we're tasting three coffees today, and every time we do this type of episode, each of the coffees is going to have some sort of theme. So the theme for today's episode is all of our coffees are from Ethiopia. Ethiopia is the birthplace of coffee. It is where coffee was originated from. And so as the story goes, Adam, there was actually this goat farmer whose name was Kaldi in Ethiopia, and he was out on his land one day and saw his goats grazing and eating a certain plant. And as they ate this certain plant, they started dancing and jumping and having lots of energy.
Okay.
And Kaldi said, "What is this plant that they're eating? I must try it for myself." And you know what happened once he tried it himself? He also started jumping and dancing and suddenly had so much energy. And thus, Kaldi, or better yet, his goats, discovered coffee. Isn't that wild?
Did not know that. Had no idea. Is that a confirmed story? Is that a true story?
That's debatable. I think it's more of a folk story. Whether it's true or not, we'll let other people answer that on other podcasts. But it's a fun story to share. And we do know that coffee does originate from Ethiopia. The plant originates out of Ethiopia. Something else to know about Ethiopia is that it has an incredible nuanced flavor palette when it comes to different coffees tasting different. You can find some really complex and nice coffees coming out of Ethiopia. And so without further ado, we're going to introduce the three coffees that we're drinking today from three different coffee roasters. First, from Onyx Coffee, we have the Ethiopia Nano Genji. All right. Next, from Ceremony Coffee, we have the Ethiopia Gore Daku. And then lastly, from Verve Coffee, we have a Worka Chilbesa Ethiopian coffee. All of these coffees are washed process. We are not going to get into what that means today. Stay tuned for a future episode if you want to learn more about different processing methods. But we chose them all to be washed because we want them all to have a more similar flavor palette. All right. So we're about to start tasting. Cody, are we almost ready?
Yeah, we're good to go.
We're good to go. Okay, sweet. If you are listening on a podcast only by audio, we're going to fast forward you through this next 3 minutes of us tasting these coffees, just to save you all the random noises. If you are watching the video today, feel free to stay tuned and you can listen to our thoughts as we go through each of these coffees. So, ready to start our timer? And, let's divvy them up. All right. You are. We're going to be taking turns with coffee A and then coffee B and then coffee C. All right.
That's good.
So start the timer now. On to coffee A. Let's each take a sip and see what we think. Feel free to help yourself.
Yeah.
Almost immediately, I get some nice florals.
It almost tastes like tea to me. It has kind of like a tea-like texture to it. Very light, very refreshing.
It is very refreshing. Aftertaste is very light, very pleasant.
Bright.
Mm-hmm. And some fruity flavors too, but kind of on the higher end. It's not crazy acidic, but it's definitely not any sort of dense fruit. I would almost say, I don't know, almost like an apple maybe. Okay.
See the apple.
All right. Let's move on from coffee A to coffee B.
Sounds good.
Moving on to coffee B. See what we think about this one.
Also very light. Does this have to do with the fact that it's from Ethiopia, that they're all very light? Is Ethiopia coffee considerably lighter than most coffees?
I would say the fact that they're from Ethiopia, yes, Ethiopian coffees are known for having some brighter flavors, especially washed coffees as well. The fact that their wash process is going to produce some lighter flavors as well. This one is very light. I mean, almost not very much flavor. Not as complex, I would say.
I believe 2 of these are light roast and one of them's about medium, I think.
Okay.
So 2 of them should definitely be a little lighter.
Okay. All right. We need to move on from B to C. We're running out of time. Okay. All right. Moving on to coffee C. Just so y'all know, we do not know which coffee is which. Our producer behind the camera mixed them all up for us. So this is completely blind to us. Ooh. Some strong sweetness. Now, I don't know if are you tasting that? What are you getting?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot sweeter than these 2. It's almost less tea-like because of that sweetness. It has like a density to it.
Yep. Almost reminds me a little bit of like a floral honey sort of thing. Decent fruits going on, but not as complex. And I would say that a little more dense than this one right here. So,
Absolutely.
yep. Oh, and that does it. We are out of time. That was 3 minutes. That fast.
Yep.
That was
All right.
incredibly fast.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so now we need to choose a winner on which one we think is the best.
Okay.
We have coffee A, coffee B, coffee C. We're going to count down from 3. And when I say point, you point to which one you think is the best.
Okay.
Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, point.
Whoa.
All 3 different ones.
We're all tied.
All 3 different.
All 3 got 1 vote.
Okay. So how do we tie break?
So they all win? How do we tie break? I don't know, but I guess they all win today
Sure.
is the answer to that one. So let's go ahead and reveal which coffee is which. Clearly, they were all nice enough. We all enjoyed different ones. We'll start with coffee A. Coffee A is Verve. Nice. Great Verve. Great florals. Really nice coffee. Lots of complexity. Coffee B is Onyx. Nice. Very cool.
And I have the
Sleeves.
Yep.
Ceremony coffee at the end.
Awesome.
Yep. And Ceremony had some of the strongest sweet flavors.
Definitely.
Richer, I wouldn't say dense, but just sweeter flavors. So,
Fantastic.
anyways, That was fun. I appreciate y'all being on the show today. Appreciate y'all listening, learning more about some Ethiopian coffees. And thank you for joining us.